Put him down. Put him down. I'm not looking up.
3, 2,
Welcome back to the Agony of Positivity Sunday edition. I am Ross, joined by...
Classic. Wow, Burning Crusade Saul.
I thought you were just going to go with classic. Be like, well, that's quite the name change, but we'll make it work.
Just call me the Classic.
Yes. Yeah, there was we got info on New WoW this week. It feels like it was forever ago, but it was just this week, right?
I think so. Yeah.
Like, it feels like that news has been out for months.
I think it dropped on Monday, didn't it? Maybe that's
Monday
why it
or
feels so
Tuesday.
long.
Yeah. The trying to see, but yeah. So other than because you got Classic, Wrath is going to be this year. So there's not. Well, I mean, we're only 4 months into the year, but really we're about 5. So I think they'll do the December, and that's still technically 2022.
Like to drop Wrath of the Lich King?
Yeah.
I assume so. Yes.
Yeah, December, November, maybe.
Usually, maybe at the earliest October, latest December. I'd say. Yeah.
For a while there, it felt like they did a lot of stuff in September's, but So other than that stuff, because we might actually talk on that today, how was your week?
It was all right. So yesterday, I have a little story.
Okay.
So I like just to try new restaurants out.
Yeah.
And my wife's like, "Hey, there's a new restaurant that opened up back in February that we haven't tried yet." And I was like, "Okay, what's it called?" She's like, "All Hail the Mighty Biscuit." And I was like, "What?"
I have never heard of that.
Yep. So we tried it. Went there. It's like I said, it's a brand new mom and pop store basically.
Yeah.
With a great name, I gotta say that's probably the greatest name. But in my opinion, there are 2 types of biscuits and gravy that I like.
Okay.
One, my great grandma made, and she's dead, so I can never get that. I can never get that biscuits and gravy ever again.
Yeah.
And McDonald's biscuits and gravy. For some reason, I think McDonald's is pretty good at doing.
Yeah, theirs isn't bad most of the time.
Yeah. I don't like Bob Evans. Cracker Barrel, no. Anyway. So those are top 2. And so I go there, I was like, and these guys have biscuits and gravy. So I said, all right, I'm going to try it. So I order it, and they give me, it comes, and so the bill is like $40, okay?
Yeah.
Just my wife and me. I was like,
That's a lot for biscuits and gravy.
Yeah, I was like, well, and they have other stuff. They have like a chicken biscuit and stuff like that, but they're known for the biscuits and gravy, apparently. Yeah. And I told my wife, I was like, that's a lot of money for biscuits and gravy, $40. I was like, this better be like the best damn biscuits I've ever had.
Yeah.
Type thing, And it comes to our table, and it's not. It's very peppery.
Yeah.
And they only give you one biscuit, and they give you like a little bowl. I mean, when I say little, it's like a. You ever see like little bowls that you give water to, like a Chihuahua?
Yeah.
So it comes to something.
My dogs that have passed were all part Chihuahua, so I'm familiar with the smaller size bowls.
So it comes to so the gravy comes in a bowl like that, about that size, and I was like, this is a lot of money for what you're getting here.
Yeah.
So yeah, needless to say, we won't be going back there.
I have their Facebook page pulled up, and I'm looking at it. All Hail the
Biscuit. Yeah.
Yes.
Is it Mighty Biscuit or
no,
Hail the Biscuit?
Just All Hail the Biscuit.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Although if they were to add Mighty in, they probably would charge you another $10. So, because there's like a picture of what looks like McDonald's biscuits. Honestly, then they have like the dough rolled out in a cookie cutter where they're cutting the biscuits. The top looks like a crumb cake biscuit. I don't know how else to describe that. And then Yeah, they got the staff. They're currently hiring $15 to $20 an hour. So for Ohio, that ain't bad.
Yeah.
And then pictures of bacon sizzling.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm just trying to see if there's more food pictures, but there is not. So,
like I said, they have like biscuits and gravy, chicken biscuit.
yeah. So going back to the $40.
Yeah.
So did you both just get like an order of biscuits and gravy?
Yeah.
And it was $20 per person, basically.
So how they do it is they don't have like combos or anything.
Yeah.
So you want biscuits and gravy? That's $10.
Right.
You want a drink? That's $3. Which drinks are usually high anyway in restaurants. So we could have got water if we wanted to.
Right.
I got a side cart of potatoes.
Okay.
And then my wife got a side cart of eggs.
Yeah, so 2 orders of biscuits and gravy, some potatoes, and some eggs was $40.
Yes.
My life would have to change to pay that much.
Yeah, well, and where it's located at, not really high clientele. So,
yeah, so like, what is their goal? Like,
I mean, I guess you could blame the Biden inflation to a point, maybe, but even then, I think you're just being greedy, you know?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, they're paying reasonable wages, so their stuff's going to have to cost more theoretically for like a smaller place like that. Sure. But, dude, like, are you ever going back after paying that much?
I'm not going back, no.
Yeah.
That's what I told my wife. I was like, and they give you a review thing.
Yeah.
And I put on it, I was like, the biscuits and gravy was just okay. And I was like, for the amount of money that we spent, you could have went to Frisch's and got the Frisch's breakfast bar and had all you want. You know,
and
for cheaper.
So for both of you, like, sorry, I was taking a drink of tea. My throat is dry this morning.
Well, and another thing that kind of made me mad, I wasn't the make it or break it type place for the place, but I was like, hey, can we eat outside? Because they have benches outside.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, we're not ready for that yet. That's next week. I was like, what?
What do you mean not ready for that?
That's what my wife and me looked at each other like, okay.
Is there like a liability that they...
I mean, it's just picnic table sitting outside. So I'm thinking, why aren't you ready for people to go outside? I mean, because it was a nice day yesterday.
Yeah. No, yesterday was pretty nice, like the bit of it that I got to experience.
I was baffled by her comment. I'm like, oh, okay.
Did they not have, like, if you were to just like leave your tray or something, like just sitting on the picnic table, they have to go outside to clean it off? Like, I don't understand.
I guess there are $15 an hour people that just can't go outside to go get the plates. I have no idea.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
Like, that just... Yeah, and, like, it's a smaller town in Ohio is where it's at.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, if you're real interested, you can look it up and get an idea. But, yeah, so, like, I don't feel like that price point is going to work very well. And from what you're saying, it's not good enough that you're going to, like, drive out there.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, the name will get you in, but
sure,
what after that?
Another thing is it's tucked away. I mean, it's hard to, if you wasn't going there for the biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It'd be kind of hard to see.
Yeah, like
it's like it's kind of tucked away. I mean, right next to it is a closed down Long John Silver's, and next to that, I think it might be a closed down Steak and Shake. So you get two businesses that are closed down right next to each other. So
yeah. Well, the Steak and Shake was like its own thing. The other though, yeah, because so we have where I live. There's like a few spots, and this comes up all the time, where you'll see a restaurant or a bar go in, and then that bar or restaurant goes out of business because it's an awful location.
Yep.
And then you'll see someone else, and it was like a 10-year cycle of once a year you'd have something new and be like, what kind of research are you guys doing? This is a dead spot. This spot does not work, clearly. Be like,
Yeah.
most small businesses fail. Like, that's a statistic. But when every single one who's been here hasn't even made it a year,
Yeah.
this spot is not good for what you're doing. And they were opening the same. Like, it'd be one thing if it was like, well, you know what? A restaurant has never worked in this location. We're going to sell golf carts because there's a golf course in the area. Be like, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. But
The only reason I can think people keep going to those places
mhm.
is because it's a discounted rate because no one stays there.
Yeah,
You know?
could be, but then you're setting yourself up from failure from the get-go. Like,
You got to be good, Ross. You got to be good.
you gotta have the ego to be like, I am that
Yeah.
0.5% that's gonna do
That's what I'm saying.
different.
You got to go in there and be like, you know what? I'm the man. I'm going to make this place
I'm
work.
gonna change the entire demographic and social and economic factors of this entire area of town, all on my own.
You have to have the MJF attitude and like, hey, I am that good.
I guess well, I mean, truthfully, he just wouldn't be in a poor area. He would just leave. But, all right, so we're going to talk about the Batman today.
Yes.
That is our primary target, and then when we post it, we'll let you know if there's other stuff on it, or if we just get carried away with vampire Bruce Wayne. So
Yes.
here we go. Let me find. I am all out of sorts today. Here we go.
Something that could never ever possibly destroy us. Mr. Stay Puft.
You chose poorly. You have chosen wisely.
All right, so we got the new Batman movie,
Emo Batman.
more or less. Trying to think. So it's almost 3 hours, 2 hours and 55 minutes.
Yeah.
So I watched this with my wife. I didn't. So I guess we'll start overall impressions before we get into it. Like, if you want to give it like a 5 or a 10-star rating.
Sure, we can do that.
Okay, what would you give it?
Because it wasn't bad.
Right.
I might say 4.
4 out
Because
of
I'm never
4
gonna
out of
watch
5 or 4 out of 10.
Look at this, 4 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm never gonna watch this movie ever again.
Right.
And you know me, I like to rewatch movies.
Yeah. Which
There
is
is no
super weird.
sure. There is no redeeming. There's nothing in it. Not even cool fight scenes that makes you go,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I want to rewatch that.
So, for myself, I'd probably go 6,
Okay.
maybe 6.5. The length, I could
Yeah.
do 7 if it was a 2-hour movie, and I think you could probably get there.
Sure. Oh no, you 100% could get there.
I enjoy that they did do the more detective aspect of Batman.
Yep.
I would give them credit that is a bold decision to try to go that route and then make your movie 3 hours.
Yes.
Overall, like, I liked it. There were little things like he's talking about, like, basically he hangs out kind of disguised, riding around town on a motorcycle to try to, like, see what's going on in the town, but he acknowledges he's not everywhere all the time.
Sure.
But he tries to, like, so little things like that. Like, in general, and I mean, he spent almost the entire movie as Batman. Like, there's very little Bruce Wayne time, I guess.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So that I never care for the, although with 3 hours, I don't know. Like, in the Batman Begins stuff, like, they kind of made Bruce Wayne a little more interesting.
Yeah.
But this is how I imagine he is. He's not an exciting part of Batman most of the time. So
See, and I think that's where if you have a really good actor,
yeah,
you can, because Bruce. I mean, you need to play Bruce Wayne
different.
as a fun-loving playboy guy type thing, and then switch over to who Bruce Wayne really is, which is Batman.
Right.
And I don't know if there's not a lot of actors can switch between the two. Robert Patterson here cannot do it. He can only do one vampire mode.
Yeah, which oddly works really well for Batman.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like-
I don't. Yeah.
Like between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we got let's see here. So like you were saying, like I don't rewatch movies hardly ever. Basically like Shawshank and Raiders of the Lost Ark and Rocky 4. That's probably my rewatch movie list.
Yeah.
The trying to think what I want to say here. Outside the novelty of the detective side of Batman,
Yeah.
it like because that's not going to be for everybody. If you're a big Batman fan, that might not even be for you if you're a Batman fan.
No.
In a lot of cases. So I don't know, like as far as general thoughts, but let's get to I guess like the plot of it. Because you got Riddler, which this is I want to say it's like Earth 1 or something Riddler. Like there's
Okay.
definitely it's a different take on Riddler,
Yeah.
but it's from somewhere.
Well, and I sent you a text about this 'cause my sister also watched it too. And I sent her one too. And she's like, I just don't like Riddler, and I was like, Riddler would be really hard to play because he is so close to the Joker. Well, if you don't
There's
play him right,
similarities. Yeah.
yeah, if you don't play him right, you come off as being the Joker.
Yeah.
So,
But lower tier. Basically an
Yeah.
imposter Joker
sure,
that
So,
tells riddles instead of kill people.
yes. So, I think it'd be. So I'll give the actor a little bit of grace because for one thing, I've never even heard of this actor, Paul Dano. Never even heard of him.
Yeah, I don't know who that guy is.
Yeah.
Let's see
So-
here.
So I'll give him a little bit of a grace as far as playing the Riddler because I think he'd be a really hard character to play.
Yeah, I've heard some people say that Jim Carrey's version of him was good, and I just can't get behind that take.
No, because I think he was just another version. To me, he acted more like the Joker.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but he was. Yeah, if you would have changed the outfit and the name, it probably would have worked better.
Sure.
So according to this, and this was from January, Matt Reeves, he said that the inspiration behind the Riddler in this was the Zodiac killer.
I can see that. Yeah.
I'm looking. I thought I saw something. Like, there's other versions of the Riddler where he gets a little bit violent. I mean, so I'm going to do some spoilers here. Hush, which you kind of see in the movie referenced at one point. And obviously this discussion is going to have spoilers because we can't really do it without. But Riddler, he's Hush, pretty much.
Yeah.
Because he figures out who Batman is. So, but like, this isn't that. Like, he's not orchestrating a bunch of stuff. So,
Yeah.
I did read as well for this movie, they were going to do the Long Halloween.
Okay.
And then they decided to do this.
I think the Long Halloween might have been better.
I enjoyed that story, but it's also got a lot of people involved. So
That's true. Isn't like the entire villains.
yeah, there's a lot. It'd be like if they tried to put Nightfall. It wouldn't be that bad, but Nightfall has to be like a TV series if they were to do that.
Yeah.
I would say because you have basically. I think the comics it was 11 issues before Bane finally broke him, and like basically you could do each episode could be him going after a different villain.
Gotcha.
One of those kind of things. But yeah, so some tease about that. I think that a whole lot of it I think was just like a little bit of fan service thrown in there because there are so many scenes that I swear are out of the Batman the animated series, like the real old one.
Yeah.
Like I'm almost certain that a lot of those scenes, like
Well, some of the music was from the animated. It seemed like, or at least from the movie with Michael Keaton.
yeah, Yeah, and I'm looking to see if in the Batman, let's see.
The Batman.
Yeah, I was trying to see if anybody did like a side by side because I'm almost sure they did, but I don't see anything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Riddler, different take on the Riddler than what
Yeah.
we're typically used to. I thought that was okay. Unfortunately, because the Saw franchise exists, it just felt like he was doing a jigsaw thing to me
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
with some of that stuff. But again, I liked the boldness of giving something totally different.
Yeah.
We had Catwoman.
So
Yeah.
let me ask you about the characters here. So like, okay, Batman. What'd you think about Batman?
I thought as Batman, he was fine. Like he's a smaller Batman compared to when Christian Bale did Batman Begins. But even in that series, the second movie, he slimmed down, and they even addressed it in the movie where it's like, yeah, being mobile is a little bit more important.
Sure.
So no problem there. Him driving around on the motorcycle the majority of the time makes way more sense than the Batmobile.
Yeah.
If you're going like awkward orphan Bruce Wayne, I guess, makes sense, but it's not very interesting at the same time.
Yeah.
Like it's basically like a beat, like a single beat in the story, and then it's like, whatever. But I mean, he's really Batman. Bruce Wayne is the mask. I think that's basically the whole thing on Batman. So, like that's fine. Long hair was weird.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Like that was strange to me because from a trying to portray, which I mean, he wasn't really trying to. Like he even said he doesn't care about Bruce Wayne is kind of what I boiled it down to.
And that's where I have a problem with this Batman because it's kind of like with like the Green Arrow TV show.
Yeah.
You need a business to fund your little hobby here that you're doing. So,
well, I mean, if he has like all the money already, though, then the business part he doesn't care about. I could see that, but you'd think you'd want to have like research and development, kind of like they did in Batman Begins.
Yeah, I mean, all you have to do is just show me. I mean, this is a 3-hour movie. You could have showed it very easily for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
5 minutes of him actually caring and acting, looking like a businessman,
Or trying to.
Yeah, and just then afterwards, you just be Batman. You can be brooding, sulking in your cave all you want. So,
well, cause I thought I was glad they did it because in the very beginning it was like, oh, you have a meeting with the accountants or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they're like, oh, they're here, and I was like, oh no, here we go.
Yeah.
And then they skipped it, and I was delighted.
Yeah. See, and that's okay. It seems like that where they mention him doing business because I think it's more of a
like it being acknowledged that it happens.
No, I think it shows just more how psycho Batman is.
Yeah.
That he's running a business and he's actually doing crime fighting at night.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. I think they could have nodded a little bit more to the business side.
Or what if, because it feels like it would have been more in line with this one, if they would have had it where it's basically like it's a big production because he did like narration throughout it. Give him a little bit of a narration while he's like getting dressed in a suit or something.
Yeah.
To be like, this is worse than fighting the thugs or something.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah.
Like to where to him, this is the hard part of Batman is pretending to be Bruce Wayne and to care about the business when he's seen everything going on in the city.
This is the hardest, pretending to be normal.
I mean, that's the truth for him.
Yeah, see, that would have been good.
Like just something like that. It would have. I don't know. It would have shorted up. Like I can think of a couple scenes they could have cut out for that.
I didn't like his suit at all.
I was okay with it.
That suit was just terrible looking to me.
I thought the helmet or like the mask was good.
Yeah.
The gauntlets were kind of weird, but it made sense in a way, because like the one part where he's trying to get in to the Riddler, like he's not actually like punching the glass like a moron. He's like throwing elbows at it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a good touch.
Sure.
Let's see here. So let's move on. So we got Batman, we got Riddler.
What do you think about Smeagol? I mean, sorry, Alfred.
Alfred. Not my favorite Alfred.
No.
Um,
And I did not like that he was the one that trained Bruce.
Yeah. They kind of glossed over it. Now, if he was part of the training, yes, that's fine. But
yeah,
if he was, which they didn't really.
They really didn't go in details. But if Ra's al Ghul did not train this Batman, nah.
Well, it's not Ra. It's
or whatever his name is.
Yeah, I forget. I can't remember the guy's name off the top of my head. But yeah, because like Ra's al Ghul was pretending to be that guy, but technically in the comics, I don't think they ever said that they weren't one and the same. But it definitely wasn't Ra's al Ghul who trained him. But he actually had. There's a story for for Tim Drake Robin, I think it is, where he is sent to train with some of the people, or like one of the people that trained Batman. But, like there were others. I'm pretty sure like that he learned the different stuff from. But yeah, I don't think he was he wasn't a bad Alfred, but I think Michael was it Michael Caine, right? That I'm thinking of.
Yes.
Like I think he did such a good
he
job.
Nailed it. Yeah.
Much like Joker from that, like it's going to be hard. Like you're going to get compared, or at least to me. Honestly, like animated series, Alfred is always good too. So,
well, and to me, it's and this is more me than the actor, I guess, because that actor has played. He played Smeagol. That's the most important thing that he's ever done, I guess. But he also played in the Avengers as I forget the character's name. He was in the Black Panther movie.
Oh,
I can't think of his name.
I know who you're talking. Yeah, I don't know the name.
The one where Ultron rips his arm off, basically.
Yeah.
So I mean, he did such a good job at playing that character. I couldn't see anything other than that when he was playing Alfred. So
yeah, I don't know. It's just the way they did it. Also, Alfred, I don't think is dumb enough to open up the package bomb thing. Like, I feel like he would have outsmarted that most of the time.
Well, because ever seen the how it should have ended cartoons?
I think I have, but which one specifically?
Well, so they talked about the Batman. They made a new one, and it says how the Batman should have ended. And Alfred picks up the envelope. He's like, "Wait a minute, this is written in the same writing as the other letters.
Yeah,
I probably shouldn't open it. I'll just put it off to the side until Master Wayne gets here."
Yeah.
So yeah. Like you said, I think Alfred would have been smarter than just like, "Oh, I'll just open it up, see what happens."
Yeah, like I don't know, or they would have had. You're telling me that Batman's not paranoid enough to have something to look for incendiary devices or bombs in his mail?
Yes.
Like just as a general, like super rich person, like let alone Batman's paranoia.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Catwoman.
Yeah, I didn't like her.
I was actually more okay with this portrayal of Catwoman than I have been a lot of them.
Yeah.
Like they kind of did the Batman Catwoman romance thing that just kills everything. Like that story has never been interesting to me. I just don't care about it.
To be fair to the actress, I don't know what I expect out of Catwoman. Maybe I just don't like the character.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just me.
I don't know. Movie portrayals also always feel like they limit the character.
Yeah.
Like, comic-wise, the character is, I find, more interesting. But we only ever get... We're removing the one Catwoman movie. That doesn't count. Like, Catwoman's always, like, such a second piece to the story.
Yeah.
That there's never a lot of time, I guess, for the development. So it's like, this is like a one-note thing. But at least she did, like, cat burglar stuff in this one.
Sure.
So,
sure. She's better than Anne Hathaway version. I'll give her that.
Yeah. Like, yeah,
I don't like her. I don't like her Catwoman at all.
It's such a weird role because it's so, the way they do it, it's always so tied to being a love interest for Batman, and
Sure.
that I think that just hurts the character. Like, let the character exist a while before you get to that, and that's just not what they do.
Maybe that's the problem. They do it in movies, and they have not made enough movies like Disney.
Yeah.
Where you're like on the 29th version of the movie or whatever.
This is like, how many versions of Batman have we had in the last decade?
Exactly.
I mean, there's burnout. Like, you guys don't know what you're doing. So I couldn't help but see from Westworld. I kept seeing Jim Gordon as Westworld.
See, now I thought he did a good job.
No, he did, but it was hard for me, and also like the way he talked and stuff.
Sure.
I kept expecting like something from Westworld to pop up, but I thought he was
expecting Anthony Hopkins to pop up.
Yeah, but I thought I almost think if you grow a mustache,
Yep.
and you play the role as straight as you possibly can, and the writing is remotely decent,
Yeah.
and you have chemistry with the actor who's Batman, you're basically set to be Jim Gordon.
Sure. And I thought he did a good job as Gordon.
Yeah, I liked him. Especially when he was like, you could have pulled the punch.
Yeah.
Like in the police station. But yeah, he did good. I guess he wasn't Commissioner Gordon. So
Now, I like the fact that Batman was able to just walk up during a police investigation.
he didn't have to do his spooky entrance every time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, because that's how it is in a lot of the comic book movies. Batman's just there. He's part of the police force or something.
Yeah, like they at least like recognize him whether they want to or not. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, it was kind of nice that he only did like the disappearing act a couple times.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I don't like. I mean, that's pretty much your main characters. You got Falcone, which is Totoro, right? Or what's his face? Yeah, like
I could not see him other than that goofy role he did in Transformers. I can't see him doing anything else other than that.
I liked the way he did it. In this, the Penguin, I was fine with a normal take on Penguin.
Yeah, see, I thought Colin, and you could not tell that was Colin Farrell.
No.
I thought he did a good job as the Penguin.
And it was like an origin to the Penguin, kind of.
Yeah, it made it more like a crime boss type thing.
Yeah, instead of finding like, we need a small person, and they're just gonna like eat fish.
Yes.
And have an umbrella and all that. I guess the character, like, they wouldn't let him smoke.
Really?
So that's why he didn't have like the fancy cigarette or a cigar or anything, I guess.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, Warner Brothers, again, you got to assume, like, that sounds like the kind of thing they would do. But he just wasn't allowed to smoke.
Because I think that would have been a nice little touch with the character.
Yeah. What did you think?
Wait. So your characters can't smoke, but killing people is completely fine.
Well, you see, they accidentally kill each other.
In
some cases, or you don't see it happen. You just hear it later on in a voicemail.
That's one good thing that I liked about this Batman. He didn't kill. I did like that part.
Well, like the closest was he like dodged the one guy that was shooting towards the end, and he shot somebody else. but that's 100% a Batman thing to do. So
Sure. And that was more on the guy. That was on that guy shooting him. So yeah.
Well, I mean, obviously he's not going to take the bullet for the other guy. Although it is weird
Sure.
because he had like obviously body armor, so he could have just taken the shot. But I guess you don't want to get hit more than necessary.
Well, you still got to neutralize the threat behind you.
Yeah.
So if you couldn't neutralize it, then hey, let somebody else do it. So.
So they're sticking with the Thomas and Martha Wayne weren't good people.
Oh, good grief! Yeah, that was.
I liked it in some regard because like they do it in or it's been done in the comics, but it feels like one of those things that it's always going to be that now. Kind of like with Superman, where the dad gets killed somehow or isn't around or dead or something. Like that's always going to be part of it now.
To me, it felt like they're like, you know how we always do Martha and Wayne dying? Hey, let's do a different take on that.
Yeah, which like, they did change it up a little bit. I did like, because I don't like it, but at the same time, like the way they did this one, I cut it some more slack because, as Alfred explained, it was like, well, he didn't think the guy was going to do that, but he was trying to protect the mom, and then that's what led to him getting killed. Is like he felt so bad about what happened that he was clearly the bad guy, but he didn't intend. Like things got out of hand real quick on him, is what it sounds like. But it's still, I just liked it where it's like, oh, they're dead, and they were actually decent people. Like,
I mean,
that also makes Batman even more crazy. Where it's like,
that's what I'm saying. I don't like the fact because they were hinting at his mom was being kind of psychopath.
Yeah.
In and out. That explains his mental illness. It's like, no, I kind of like the fact of his parents and him were just normal people.
Yeah.
And then he had a psychotic break because of seeing violence like that.
Yeah.
I don't like the fact, well, he has a history of mental illness. That's why he's Batman. No.
Which I mean, you're getting there the same way, or the end result's the same, but how you get you're taking the scenic route.
Yes.
Kind of thing. What did you think? I'm just trying to think of scenes that stuck out to me. Like I don't really have anything pulled up that I'm looking at too much. When he did like the raccoon suit, I guess. Like to escape the police, where basically like the flight suit, but then for whatever reason he hits the parachute and it gets caught on the bridge and he just eats it.
Oh yeah, he eats it like head first right into a car. I'm thinking, yeah, that's still great.
I genuinely laughed out loud because it was hilarious.
So you were thinking of Super Mario Brothers, wasn't you?
Yes.
I was like, that looks like the raccoon suit from Mario Brothers.
Yeah, like different coloring and stuff, but
yeah.
I also thought it was kind of funny, like when he initially like ran out and saw how high it was, he like actually stepped back and was like, "Whoa!"
yeah.
Like, man, that was almost bad.
I thought how Batman Begins dealt with that. His lighting was better than whatever thing that thing was.
I mean, that's a less evolved version of it.
Yeah.
So if they follow up with this one, which I have the feeling this is going to be a standalone Batman for the rest of time.
Well, especially since Warner Brothers say they're going to redo everything, so who knows?
Be like, thanks for the story and the entry. When we create the Batman streaming service, this will definitely be on there.
Yes.
But you could see where he would refine that, where he's like, that really didn't work, and that whole parachute thing was a bad idea.
You know, it is funny because we are getting to the point where you could actually do a Batman streaming service.
Yeah. If you added all the animated stuff, the old stuff, like the Adam West era.
Yep.
Let me see what else was. So, like, I thought that was funny. What did you think about? So there's a part where there's a riddle that kind of leads them to the Penguin. Like, I'm Gordon and Batman, and there is the craziest car chase scene ever.
Yeah.
And then finally, and like it's just intense. Like
Mhm.
for the chase scene, they finally get the Penguin and they got him tied up, and they're
Yeah.
going over the evidence. And Penguin is basically like, "Oh my god, you guys are idiots."
Yeah,
Because
that was
because Alfred mentions when he's doing the translation that his Spanish isn't great,
yeah.
and they're doing everything, and it's like there's a big difference between, I guess, L and La in Spanish for the purpose of the clue they have.
Yeah.
And the Penguin is just like, whether it was on Riddler or that, like whoever, the Penguin is just like, "Are you kidding me? You got like," because he's laughing at him. Like,
That was more. I thought I liked that because that's more real life. Because I've seen like really intelligent people
yeah,
just miss stuff like that, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you're right. You're right." And so yeah,
yeah. But just
I
the
like
way
that.
the Penguin reacted to it, though, because he's going to become, theoretically in this universe, he's going to become like a big time player.
yeah,
So the fact that he just went through this, like, because he's already like been muscled by Batman previously, thrown like against a window or whatever, but now he's been like through this crazy car chase where he sees him like jump over explosions and stuff, and now he's like tied up in the middle of nowhere, and Batman made a mistake.
yeah,
Is how he sees it, and Gordon's involved with it, and then they just leave him tied up in the middle of nowhere because
Yeah,
he's
I
yelling
thought-
like, "How am I supposed to get out?" Like, he honestly took it quite well for the situation.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I thought that was pretty good.
like, but yeah, I just because again, I'm all for like Batman just knows everything,
Yeah,
but having a moment where Batman totally screws up, he honestly doesn't care. It's just like, "Oh, too bad for you," and just leaves the guy who was
Yeah.
still involved in crime. Like, he was still clearly in a super criminal activity. They could have arrested him.
yeah, yeah.
But even
yeah.
Gordon's like, "Yeah, we'll just leave him here. That's fine.
yeah, yeah.
Can go hang out with my buddy Batman."
This is your punishment, Penguin. Trying to figure out how to get out of this.
Yeah, which is going to be like, he'll just get his phone out
So-
of his pocket eventually. But
Did you notice this? Well, I mean, they tell you at the end what it is, but the weapon that the Riddler's using as a carpet cleaner, I'm like, is he using a tucker for the for carpet
Yeah.
stretching? And it looked exactly as soon as he used it, I was like, that's a carpet tucker.
yeah, well, we had the uniqueness of working cleaning
Sure.
carpets, and the one guy there did carpet work.
Yeah.
Like
Yep.
restretching, which is basically
Yep.
like when your carpet gets all wrinkly, you can come in, cut some of it off, and like retuck it up to the baseboards, and it'll flatten
Yeah.
your carpet out.
And it's solid enough
Oh,
where
you
you
could-
could kill somebody with it.
That, and you got like your knee bumper version of it.
Yeah.
But either one, I mean, it's a big solid metal. You could wreck somebody's day.
Yep.
Especially if they weren't expecting it and you just wailed on the back of their head.
Sure. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was funny. I'm probably one of the few people, other than carpet cleaners,
Yeah.
that know what that is.
Yeah, just at that glance.
Yep.
Well, and the thing is, like, they were kind of sly about it, because then when he's talking to Riddler, because they catch Riddler, because Riddler, honestly, he gives himself up.
Yeah.
Which I guess it sounded like he thought him and Batman were going to be partners, but the reality
Yeah.
is that that's not it. But he inadvertently set up a way to draw Batman from like the end part where they fled the city. But even then, Batman, like, when Riddler was like, "You are not as smart as I gave you credit for," like.
Yeah.
So I think this is like year 2, because I think at one point Batman mentioned like he's been doing it for 2 years or something.
Yeah.
So he's still theoretically new to the game,
Yeah.
dealing with people like the Riddler and stuff. But yeah, I like the way that they tied in the one officer when Batman was investigating, who was
Yep.
like, "Hey, can you believe he killed him with a tucker?" Or what, like however he said it,
Yeah.
to lead to that. Because again, without that, Batman never figures it out,
Sure.
like what the end goal is.
Yeah.
Although really, it wouldn't have mattered, because if he wouldn't have found under the carpet
Yeah.
wouldn't have got the password to see the video.
Sure.
At that same time, those explosions still go off, and he sees what's going on, and he'd be like, "Oh, I gotta get to the stadium thing or whatever." Like,
Yeah.
he still gets there, but just not the same time frame.
So, I'm stealing this from How It Should Have Ended.
Yeah.
Cartoon. What was up the whole thing of the vengeance? Are you ready to go do this vengeance? Are you ready? And everyone's like, and in the cartoon, that there's like, I thought you called the Batman. Well, I'm also vengeance. And they're like, but you're the Batman. On vengeance too. So
I guess the only thing I can think is it was to set up where he thinks he needs to be like the vengeance to the city, like going after people with like rage. And then when like the Riddler goon said the same thing, he was like, "Oh, that's not going to be the way to actually change the city." So then he goes the compassion route by carrying someone to a stretcher. What you don't know is that was actually a street thug that he put in the need for medical treatment.
I don't know. I think he could have got there better.
I agree, but I think that's what they were looking for, like the simplest thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, when the goon said that, like obviously that was supposed to be a big moment, but I was like,
Sure.
Did I miss something somewhere else in the movie? Did I fall asleep for an hour and a half and I missed something important? Because the movie would still be going if you fell asleep for an hour and a half. You'd still have quite a bit of movie to watch. So I don't know. Like, did you by any chance see they made a deleted scene of him talking to the Joker in Arkham?
I know it. I know it exists. I've not seen it.
I watched it. I can see why it makes no sense to be in the movie. Like,
Gotcha.
It really wouldn't have added that much, I don't think, other than, oh, we really want to put the Joker in the movie. Like, that's really why they would have done it.
And I got to say that Joker, I'm okay with it not coming because I don't think I would like that Joker.
Yeah, I'm super picky on my Jokers.
Yeah.
Like, I don't 100% know what I like, other than like I like the Heath Ledger Joker, and it was a different portrayal at the time, slightly.
Yep.
I almost think they try too hard.
I think they do too.
Like,
I think they're like, I got to be different than Heath Ledger and Mark Hamill. Let's say, don't think about them. Just think about the character. Right?
Yeah, like pick up some Batman comics. Do you want to be a money Joker?
Yeah.
Which is basically Danhausen in a way. Is you're just a money gremlin, and then
yeah. I never really thought of it like that, but yes, Danhausen
that's his thing. Is he wants money. There are many versions of the Joker where he's really just interested in getting a bunch of money for something. Or do you want to be like the edgier Heath Ledger Joker? Or do you want to be Batman animated series? I'm going to trademark my smile, mutate fish to have it, and sell them. I mean, there's quite a range of Jokers to go with. I mean, even though I didn't like it, Jared Leto's Joker, there is a version of Joker like that. He at least picked something that was different. It's not for me.
I'm not too keen on sadistic Joker. I think I like more of the funny, haha, bank robber type.
Yeah,
I don't know. So
yeah, I'm a fan of that as well. But yeah, and I mean, technically, yeah, they're doing different versions of the Joker, but I don't like it.
Because the problem
I want them to do what I want, not what they want.
Sure. Well, the problem with it is if you get too sadistic with a bad guy, and then it gets to the point of like, well, why aren't you killing this thing? Because this thing is clearly beyond redemption.
Yeah.
It's not even a human anymore, type thing. So.
Yeah, where it's like, this is basically a wild, psychotic animal that's killing people.
Yes. So.
Let's see.
I don't know
know if there's really a lot more to it. again, the detective element was fine. Like, I think they told... It felt more like I was watching, like, a crime drama than a Batman movie.
Sure.
So, yeah, like, this is fine, but the fact that if they are, in fact, going to reboot everything again, the fact that this particular line of Batman will not continue, it doesn't really hurt my feelings.
Well, it's kind of like that Joker movie that they did. Everyone liked for some reason, and I couldn't figure out why.
Yeah. If that goes away and doesn't exist, you're fine with it?
I'm fine with it. Yeah, you tried something different. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like giving Joker an origin.
Nope.
I think that is... Because then you're trying to turn him into an anti-hero, almost.
Sure.
Like... Because unless you're going to give him, like, the most messed up... Where he causes all his own problems. Like, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. I just don't like... Joker having an origin is bad.
The Heath Ledger Joker, I thought, was the best because he was just an agent of chaos. That's what he was.
Well,
he
like,
what he was.
He gave, like, stories, but he kept changing them.
Yeah.
And one of them might be true, or they could all be a combination of true, but you don't know. And I think that that works better.
Yeah, I agree.
So, you got anything else on this? Like, because you're probably not going to watch it again.
I will never. I mean, was there any cool fight scenes? There wasn't even any cool fight scenes in it, I thought.
There were, like, just a couple fight scenes, but now they weren't as bad as, like, the Michael Bay style, where you cut around so much you can't tell what's going on. Sure, but it was basically, like, just him beating up thugs for the most part.
Sure.
Which is fine. I mean, this was, like, him getting in a fist fight with the Riddler isn't going to do nothing unless you go Riddler on Venom version. Like, that's the only way you're going to have.
Yeah, I guess he was fighting a character that wasn't very strong.
Yeah, so, like, once he gets him, it's over. Like, there's no no anything there. That's kind of how it is with the Joker a lot of times, too, is the Joker physically, like, he can fight Batman off to try to escape, but he's not going toe-to-toe with him. Unless you do, like, the Batman animated series. I think they gave Joker...
where he goes inside Tim Drake's body or something like that?
Well, no, there was... it's one of the... It felt like it was a shorter-lived Batman animated thing. Because that was Batman Beyond is where
you're talking about the Batman, or the Joker with the dreadlocks.
Yeah, and had, like, the long sleeves, and he actually had, like... They gave him, like, a story to have a fighting style.
Yeah, like some kind of... Yeah.
Yeah, like Drunken Master kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, because, like, Batman's always going to be higher trained than most people he fights.
Sure.
So yeah, Joker was always like, and Joker didn't care to get caught either. Like, that was the game.
Sure.
So yeah, I don't know. Like, myself, I definitely won't watch it again, probably. Like, it's hard enough for me to watch, like, an hour show, let alone a 3-hour movie a second time when I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, all right. So, yeah, after discussing it, I think my rating still stays the same, about 6.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
IMDb, it has an 8.1.
That's too high.
I'm okay with it because, again, I think they went out on a limb on a few things with this, so I'm okay with it. And the reality is, we're probably going to get in the next 10 years about 9 more Batman movies. So if you look at it as like this is just like a one-shot episode where you're like, yeah, I didn't really care for that one. The next one's going to be directed by different people. We'll see how it goes.
I may give mine a little bit higher, maybe a 6, just because he didn't kill. And that's what I like about Batman, that he does not kill.
Yeah.
Because if I want to watch The Punisher, I would just watch a Punisher.
Although, to be fair, Punisher, it's over. Batman, you're in ICU. You have physical rehab. You might not walk right ever again.
Sure.
And you have crippling medical debt, which sends you back into crime, and then you run into Batman again.
This is true.
So, who is the Punisher, really?
This is true.
It's over. If you had life insurance, your family gets the life insurance. Punisher's doing people a solid.
Yes.
In a horrible way. The wood chipper stuff might not be necessary, but he's got to live up to the name. So
yes.
All right. How are you on time, or you just want to call it there? Because we went pretty long.
We can talk about wrestling a little bit.
All right. Let's hop over. I'm gonna hit the bumper while I pull it up.
Well, I don't know what the hell's going on here, folks. Looks like he's just wearing blue pants.
This is a revolution.
All right. So we had I don't know really anything that went on in WWE or other companies this week other than AEW.
I don't know either. I don't think anything of value happened.
Okay. So let's go back to Dynamite. Not the greatest Dynamite, but it wasn't bad either. It was just like a so-so. You had the Dustin Rhodes and CM Punk match, which I thought was pretty good. For what it was, like there wasn't much doubt that Punk was going to win. I think it was more just a match for the sake of him having a match to move up the rankings a little bit. But you did get the Hangman Punk stare down.
Yeah.
To where the crowd actually chanted for Hangman, which was a good sign because that means they're not going to instantly turn on him when this happens.
Sure.
Wardlow and Butcher. Seeing big dudes get power bombed is always good. Something I was surprised by was Kyle O'Reilly beating Jungle Boy.
I'm glad for it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was good, and that furthers the Jungle Boy Christian thing. But I seriously, because I was like watching or listening, depending on what was going on. When that match started, I was like, well, I'm going to go do stuff, and I'll just listen to this. And then it was like, oh, Kyle O'Reilly was won. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, I was absolutely surprised. But then it's like, well, Jungle Boy Christian story, you got to get there somehow. So that's fine. And Kyle O'Reilly's, he's good in the ring. He's actually kind of entertaining when he's being like a little weirdo. So that was fine. What did you think? Because yet again, we see for hometown wrestlers, Tony Khan has no idea what he's doing. He lets Britt Baker not only come out accompanied by a local sports team where the crowd is cheering her, she is allowing them to cheer her. She has the terrible towel, waving it around. She's basically the good guy in this match. She cuts a promo that the crowd's behind, and they let her leave. She didn't get, like, a pie thrown in her face. Like, she wasn't embarrassed in front of her hometown. How are you going to get someone to be a star?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
I thought I think they do a good job with Britt Baker. Sometimes she gets annoying, sometimes she's not. I don't know.
I mean, that's her whole thing.
I get it. Yeah, I mean, I get it. Yeah.
So you think she'll recover from actually being allowed to be a star as opposed to, for whatever reason, being punished for being from Pittsburgh and they happen to be there?
Yes. Do you think that eventually she's going to beat Jade for the TBS belt?
I don't know. I don't know that Britt needs that.
Yeah, I don't.
No.
I think the TBS belt needs it, but
I mean, Jade's doing for her tenure. She's doing okay.
So yeah, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like Jade's character. I mean, her personality is what you want in a wrestler.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as character development goes, she's good. Wrestling, I'm sorry, I just don't think she's that good yet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, and I've said this a couple times. Like, she's clearly getting better.
Yes.
But it takes time, and it's not like she's doing like a ton of independence or something. So we're just gonna have to wait. But so I'm torn because on one hand, so for like Britt being the person to take it off her, Britt I wouldn't think needs it, but at the same time, I'm not used to, you want to build someone like a real star, like the old days, like Austin or Rock or somebody like that, where it's like, they're a big deal, we're gonna make them a bigger deal.
Yeah.
So at that point, her being the one to beat, especially if you did like a face turn, I think you would probably do a face turn for Jade more than Britt, but I don't know. Like, people want to cheer Britt, so something would have to happen there. But yeah, her being the one to finally beat her, whether she was good guy or bad guy, basically 100% she's the top of the women's division without a doubt at that point. And I could see that, but I'm just so used to, like, you don't need anyone to be super big or bigger than the company, like being a mindset. It is hard for me to not be like, well, Britt's pretty high. She doesn't need to be higher, but she could be.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and the problem is they don't, and this is the problem with AEW, I think, in general. They don't have any good guys, women's wrestlers, you know?
Yeah.
They have Ruby Soho that I don't know what they're doing with her.
She's been, like, racking up wins on Dark, mostly.
That's what I'm saying. They're just keeping her on Dark for some reason. The way Tony Khan does stuff, I don't. It's maybe, like you said, maybe I'm just so used to WWE's method of doing it.
Yeah.
It just seems weird to me when someone else does something different.
Yeah. Well, they're growing slowly on the women's division. Like, you get more people who are involved in stories now, as opposed to just one story a week. Like, there's a couple things going at once. But, I mean, I'm assuming some of it's driven by ratings, like just long-term ratings, minute-by-minute stuff.
Yeah.
Because if everything on the card is outdrawing, like, your hottest woman's act, let's say,
sure,
then from a business standpoint, do you tank your rating? Because, like, I think with Britt that's not the case. I think she is fine, but, like, there is a business aspect that we don't have all the information to.
It's true.
But you have enough people who are interesting that I would think you could make it work. I don't know.
Well, because apparently Jade must draw, because for her to be in the main event on Rampage, I don't get it. But yeah, maybe there's something.
Rampage is typically backwards because they do the real main event is the first match usually to try to get people to stick around. But for sure, like, there might be reasons they do the women's division the way they do, but for a fact, it could be better.
Sure.
I would say. And it could be, like, he didn't really grow up, I'm assuming, especially at the time, he didn't really grow up, like, being into women's wrestling. He's into, like, what the guys were the big stars. So he may not understand the nuance for women's wrestling, but find somebody who does. Like, you have enough people that are interesting, like, they do have character. Like, Nyla's interesting, Britt's interesting, Ruby should be interesting. Like, they got enough people. There's got to be something.
Hire Medusa or somebody. To help you in that division.
Or Regal or somebody.
Yeah.
Like, if Regal is into, like, although Regal may not want to do something like that anymore. He's busy with Blackpool, so.
Well, because I thought they said that Kenny Omega was part of that.
Yeah.
If that's the case, then Kenny Omega just needs to just be a wrestler and
not do that. Yeah, something. Yeah, they're no matter what. Like, there might be things I just want to reiterate. There might be things we don't understand as to why they do what they do.
Sure.
But it could definitely be better.
Yeah.
Just like from the Mitt, we'd say the same thing. Like, it seems like you could do something better. Like, it's the same thing. You can do better, even if it's okay. And I would say largely people do not think the women's division is in a good shape overall. Like, there's standouts, but it just needs to be better.
Well, I think WWE ain't there's not much better. So.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely true. I mean, if you want to make them look, because they have some stuff that's good, but they're real bad about the same thing, where if you're not, like, the main person, you don't matter.
Yep.
Andrade and Darby. So Andrade's faction, because it's no DQ, wasted 0 time getting involved in the match. which is fine because that makes sense. Sting is jumping off balconies again.
My sister made a comment because my sister's a big Sting fan.
Yeah.
And she's like, he's doing more like more stuff jumping and risking his life than he ever did when he was actually younger.
Yeah.
I was like, well, to be fair, you gotta also understand he was wrestling old guys when he was younger too. So
he was wrestling old guys that didn't want to do anything.
Exactly. So Ric Flair ain't gonna be doing stuff like that. So
now I think I would hope that when Sting finally retires in 20 years from now, that he'll be able to look back and be like, no matter what, that my AEW run kind of wiped out the WWE run and was a good way to go out.
Yeah.
Like, I'm still assuming we have to get Sting versus Darby before the end of that, right?
I assume before.
I mean, or again, maybe I'm just so used to how you do things in wrestling. Maybe they'll just be friends, and then like Sting's like, "All right, I'm done," and then that's the end of it.
I keep waiting for Sting and Darby to turn on the Hardys and become the bad guys.
I think that would be very interesting. I think Darby as a bad guy could be hilarious. Like, he could either be like just like a really sinister bad guy, or he could be hilarious.
Yeah.
Which I'm okay, like, as long as they're treated serious in ring.
Yeah.
If you're a funny character, like, I can handle that. Let's see.
Speaking of non-serious character, how do you feel about mixing Hook
and
a character that
Danhausen?
you're trying? Yeah, so you're trying to build a serious character in Hook, and you're getting involved in a comedy act.
So, this is my thought, and I don't know that this is going to come to fruition, but so Danhausen does like the curse and all the other weird, like, basically people just, so far Danhausen's role has literally been like some kind of gremlin that people just have to deal with whether they want to or not occasionally.
Sure.
And every time he's cursed someone, really all he's done is distract them, and then something bad has happened to them.
Sure.
So it's not like he has magical powers, but he's portraying it as he has. But anyway, so now you're going to have Hook, who is basically going to no-sell all the ridiculousness that Danhausen does.
Okay.
Which is a realistic thing where it's like, he's just going to ignore it.
Yeah.
Which will force Danhausen to potentially he might get rid of some of the stuff that he does, like on the indies. Again,
so you're saying AEW is going to use Hook as to make Danhausen a serious wrestler?
I don't think he's going to. I don't feel like that's like a serious level gimmick, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
But I think they can elevate it up a little bit more to where it's less like totally preposterous.
Yeah.
And it becomes more like, he does like the curse stuff, and he can still be a weirdo.
Yeah.
But none of that junk is going to work on Hook.
And just have Hook just beat the living daylights out of him.
The thing is, like, I've seen some stuff where Danhausen isn't bad in the ring.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, it's like Orange Cassidy. It was like, well, when I was just like being a good wrestler, it didn't matter. Like, because there's other people who are good wrestlers. When I came up with something that was different, that's when the money started to happen. And same for Danhausen. When he was just like, I forget what but it was basically just like he was a wrestler. And then he switched to this. He's obviously doing way better financially and popular and everything else. So, but yeah, I think it'll be an instance where you strip away all the weird stuff of Danhausen.
Yeah.
And then you actually just get him in a match. Now, I think Hook absolutely wins that match. But, and I still think Danhausen is Danhausen. But I think they'll like tone it down, or they'll use it to show that we're not saying he has magical powers. Like one of those things.
So, I think this is going back to last week. A character that I absolutely was shocked by was Dalton Castle.
Yeah.
Talking about a weird character. Like, he plays this weird character, but he is old school wrestler.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I think it was like the first match I've ever watched of his, actually, all the way through.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, you are like old school wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, was he? I swear he's bigger than he used to be.
Yeah, he
Or
could be.
Jonathan, like, right? He fought Gresham.
Yeah,
Or is that dude just that small?
Gresham might just be that small. Like a little tank, a little battle tank.
I was trying to search, is Dalton Castle bigger than he used to be?
Yeah.
But I guess there is a real place called Dalton Castle, because the auto-populate is Dalton Castle bigger than the Empire State Building? Well, I know that that's not true.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah, because
I'm pretty sure he's got to be bigger. I'm gonna
Yeah.
look for images here.
Because I was just shocked. I'm like, wow, you have a very old school feel about you.
Yeah. Yeah, which, I mean, to be fair, like, the character is what interests you. Like, the wrestling just needs to be solid.
Sure, yeah.
It's an amazing thing.
Yeah.
Let me see here. So what do you think about the New Japan AEW Super Show that they're going to do at the United Center?
Cool, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, I'm excited for it.
Sure.
I briefly toyed with the idea of trying to go to it because, well, one, I really don't. The TV, much like the NFL, the TV experience for wrestling is fine. Being there for big moments would be cool.
Yeah.
Like seeing Punk come back would have been a cool thing to be at live. Like, that would have been fine. This, like, first major, where it sounds like they're going to have AEW people fight New Japan people.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big deal for what it is. So I could see that being cool enough to be like, you know what, I would like to see that in person, because that's going to be like a neat moment. Whereas like random Dynamite in Cincinnati, you're probably not going to get something super crazy that happens at it.
So do you think? Oh, go ahead.
That's pretty much all I was saying. Is like, going to like a local show is there's not going to be like, most likely you're not going to have like something that would classify as like historic, let's say.
Yeah.
Like, pay-per-views are kind of different. Like, those are pretty big, but yeah, like the idea of like getting into the United Center with 20,000 people or something and then trying to get home, no thank you.
So do you think they know something about Kenny Omega? Because there's no way you're doing this without Kenny Omega, right?
They might. If Kenny's not cleared, like, I mean, it would make more sense to have Kenny involved.
Sure.
But, I mean, if this is the timing that you want to do it,
yeah.
I mean, you're just going to have to do it. And if he's not there, then too bad. I mean, I think there's a 0% chance that he does not show up. Like, he'll be there in some way. Whether he can be physical or not, I don't know. But I was reading someone who claimed to be some form of a medical professional person.
Okay.
If the laundry list of things that is wrong with Kenny Omega is correct, they're like, it would be somewhat shocking to see him again this year.
Gotcha.
Now, I have no idea on actual timelines. There's no telling whether or not that stuff's true.
Here's another possibility. Kenny Omega is just lying.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he could be hurt. I mean, I'm not disputing that he's not hurt.
Yeah, but it might not be as bad as he has.
Yeah.
He might have put some sauce on what he said is wrong.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh, I actually had a sprained knee, not a torn. Like little things. Because, like, I mean, if you're a wrestler, like, a surprise return is always going to be, well, in my opinion, like, a surprise return is going to be better, but in the TV world, they want to hype it up.
it goes with the character. Like you can just be like, I'm a medical marvel.
Yeah.
I healed from all those wounds. So
I am like Wolverine. Comes out with like the
Yeah.
Wolverine sideburns.
yes, exactly.
Him and Brian Cage might have to have a discussion before that.
Yeah.
But the yeah, I mean he'll have to be at the show, whether he's on commentary for something or he seconds somebody to the ring. But I would just be shocked for that not to happen. Let's see. But yeah, so I think it's really cool. Like I think it'll be like, it's not like, it doesn't change the world, but it kind of does at the same time. Because if they do it once and it's successful, which I think it will be, that means you might get like a yearly event like that, where next year maybe they send AEW guys to Japan,
Yeah.
which would be cool. So,
Yeah.
But good stuff overall. I mean, and honestly, more companies working together is, in my opinion, is better. Like I prefer that. Because then there is it's like, oh, we'll never ever see this match. Well, no, there's actually a chance you might see it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But yeah, I didn't watch Rampage. I assume Serpentico gets killed by Lance Archer.
Yes.
This wasn't where like Serpentico unleashed his final form and just obliterated Lance Archer.
Yeah.
Okay.
The only thing I don't like about Lance Archer and what they're doing with Jake the Snake,
Yeah.
they continue to go with that Lance Archer is abusing the elderly people, because
More or less.
every time like Jake the Snake goes into character, Archer's going, I don't care about that law. And Jake the Snake does, and he plays into it like, oh no. I don't know.
All right. So I have, now this is the important wrestling question for the week for you.
Yeah.
So Hangman Page has tweeted from last night. I don't know if you saw this. The guy who came to work on our air conditioner stole my candy bar. There's no other possible explanation. I am planning to confront him. Do you think that this is going to end up being 6 months worth of BTE skits where he's stalking the air conditioner handyman?
Maybe, I guess. But that is pretty funny.
You know me, like, this is the kind of thing that would drive me insane. Because I just wouldn't understand it. So, assuming he has, like, some degree of that in his personality,
Yeah.
I'm sure his wife was like, oh my God, it's just a candy bar. I'll go to the store and buy you one. It's just the principle of the matter. I just don't understand why you would do that.
Sure. Sure. Yeah, I can see that, yeah.
I don't know. I saw that because, like, I always get confused when I see him with a tweet on the timeline, because he doesn't do, like, a ton of that stuff. I don't know how he is on Instagram. But,
Yeah.
And then to read that, I was like, well, that's not what I was expecting, but I don't know. It would be awesome, though, if, like, there's in the news, like, local former teacher turned pro wrestler has done some form of flipping maneuver to local handyman screaming about a candy bar. And Hangman is not on Dynamite because he's locked up for assaulting someone.
Sure.
Be like, turns out the drinking wasn't a gimmick.
Yep.
Yes. So I thought that was very important to discuss, is the future.
All right. Well, I guess to wrap this up,
Yeah.
we can tell the listeners that we're getting characters ready for Wrath of the Lich King.
Yes. I have halfway started a character, but I'm bouncing between a couple.
Yeah.
And then I'll probably spend $20 and boost it to $58.
Just because it's so cheap now. That's why I did it. I was like,
Yeah, well, it's like, what, half off?
It's half off, so.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not spending $40 to get a... Well,
No.
I mean, honestly, if you're looking at time played, that is a way better deal than retail.
Yeah.
For a boost.
Sure.
Yeah, it's funny. It's like, oh, well, you got me to resubscribe because of classic content. Definitely not because of your new expansion, which might be good, but
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm more interested to try to play Wrath. So we'll probably have more on that in the future.
Yep.
But if people are listening to this and play, we're playing. It's the ATS server.
Yep.
You're more welcome to go there, and then we might tell you how to find us if you want to try to play with us, which I don't think would ever happen in anyone's normal time frame because I am very difficult to schedule.
My character is Bam Bam Bigelow, so I am very shocked that character was not taken.
I am amazed sometimes by the names that I've been able to get on servers for games where I'm like, really?
Sure.
That's not taken?
Yep.
Like the other day I got Dave Blizzard. Not really, but
Yeah.
Jaina Proudmoore was available.
Well, I was able to get on retail Joe Biden. So
Really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a druid, right? I feel like
I think I made him an undead warlock.
I mean, that's, to be fair, there is the guy, like, I'm sure there's someone who's Trump where he's a goblin. Because, again,
Sure.
money.
You know,
money
we had
goblins.
this conversation once before.
Yes.
And then I followed up with, no, I think Bernie Sanders would be the goblin. So,
Could be. I mean, honestly, you could make any, regardless of which, you could make any of them into a goblin, and I'd probably not fault you for it. So.
and you said it's weird. This
exact
conversation went play by play exactly. Everything we just said, it was what we said in the past. So it's weird.
I mean, my opinion has not changed. So.
Sure.
All right, we're calling it there. So we will see you guys, I imagine, next week.
Yep.
Here we go.